What's going on, traders? Hope you all had a great Tuesday in the markets, and we are here to do an analysis on the S&P 500 Spider ETF. Before we get into it, of course, this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and in no way should be construed as financial advice. With that being said, we're always starting off here with the macro, looking at the daily chart, and markets drifted higher again today. Basically another trend day, as markets closed up about $3.35, 0.74%. Final print coming in at 454.19, and you can see how we really were free and clear after we broken over that 450 area and drifted about $4 higher since then. And it's just been an incredible rally in the markets, and really tons of opportunities for the bulls, more or less, only. And I did take the L on my short position today. It happens, it was about 30-something%. The main reason I took the loss was because I did have the 28th expiration. So I do think we are nearing a short-term top, but I want a little bit more time. So now I'm going to be looking at those August monthlies, maybe the same strike at that 444, maybe the 440. You're going to have to take a look at the price. But the other canary in the coal mine is that Tesla and Netflix earnings, as I was mentioning. So I want to I don't know exactly what I'm going to do quite yet. I want to wait till afterwards to see how the markets react to those major earnings report. But the main thing that I wanted to point out is that let's go into our other macro chart. And the main reason why I was looking at the short in the first place was, of course, here this major macro trend line that I pointed out for you guys, I believe, over the weekend, earlier in the week. I'm not exactly sure what date it was, but this major trend line here, and as you can see, bulls were able to break right through it. Now we are coming into a very interesting area again, here at the August highs from 2 years ago. So I'm going to be or maybe this was 3 years ago. I don't even know. But either way, let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it is 3 years ago. Okay, so these August highs, where we did see a sharp pullback in the markets. So this will be very interesting to see if we are able to break through and drift a little bit higher. And what goes on. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is, we talk about how history often rhymes, but sometimes it doesn't repeat. However, I have to say that one scenario, and I was talking about this in the other videos before, we are very much looking very similar to last July coming into August. You can see where we did break over this trend line here, and it looked like we were really going, but in actuality it was a fake breakout right here. Okay, this is what we're looking at, and we broke above, came up, and topped out, gap down, and then we saw that major sell. Can we potentially be setting up with a similar situation here? I don't know, but it is definitely something that I am aware of, and I am watching, and had mentioned it before in the other video. Now, picking tops and bottoms is really a fool's game. I'm not putting any real size at work on these trades. I do think that, we are seeing that definite opportunity. It's not just a blind guess at a top, but really, of course, we're not here to be picking the tops and bottoms per se. In the long run, that is a losing strategy, and the safer scenario would be, as you can see here, we did end up breaking back below. We showed that it was a fake breakout, broke back below. We waited for the buyers. They came in, retested that trend. You'd be shorting here and then getting that lower move and that move to the downside, right? So if that is another way to play this potential fake breakout, but we do not know. Of course, it is all completely speculative. Getting, going short in this zone, and this is more following price action. So those are two different ways you could look at the potential short trade for any type of retracement. Okay. All right. So with that being said, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to go over on this chart. Let's go into our a few more things back on the bigger picture fibs really quickly. And here I have updated the new swing high, and since this is bigger picture, you can see that 444 area, which we had been talking about, and really down to 442. Anywhere in this area, probably about a $2 range. That is bigger picture, what is going to need to be defended. That's, again, bigger picture stuff. So there's plenty of other levels that we'll have to watch that the bulls could potentially defend, which we will go over. But just wanted to point out this, how this is lining up here for that major pivot that I was talking about, looking at potentially coming back and retesting before making that move higher. Could we break over this and make a new swing? Make a new swing high and hit that 40, that 400 and 460. Yeah, that's totally possible as well. So we'll just have to watch and take it level to level. But I think this is at least a nice illustration of that major pivot from a bigger picture perspective. So let's just look at one more thing on our daily trends up here, and this really does line up. You can see now, here all the way down here is the 44, but the next major pivot area, of course, is, let's see what the, okay, yeah, perfect. All right, so around 447 as well is a major area that the bulls will need to defend. Maybe we only get a pullback to then if we do, but this next one is around, we can call it 452, 451.80, but really 450, right? We're going to look at that as well, 450, 451, and be watching this whole zone right here. And I was watching today. I got out of my short, but I almost re-shorted at this major macro trend line here, but boom, blasted right through, right? And I'm glad I didn't. Very similar to what I was talking about earlier as far as the false breakouts. If we do start to push back below this major macro trend line in the 453 area, that could signify that false breakout, but really no confirmation until we take out this July 17th pivot, and then we can start to look towards these other ones. So alright, that's pretty much everything I wanted to go over on this one, and let's go into our plan for tomorrow. Let me just check the time, how far we've been into this. Okay. And okay. And actually, I wish I could hide. I don't have it here. I have it on my futures chart. All right. That's fine. I'd rather show this without the levels, but whatever. Now, the reason I'm spread out like this, this zoomed out, is because I wanted to illustrate, again, something that we talk about a lot in these videos, as far as that balance trend, and we have the same situation here, where we were in this balance zone, then we broke out, trended, came into another balance zone, trended, broke out again. Haven't spent much time there because we've been so bullish, but very again, same situation, right? We were stuck in this balance, very similar to this. I mean, they wasted no time. Usually it happens a little bit longer as we find price acceptance, but you can see here very clearly that we just were in this balance range, and then we did break out of that balance and trended higher. These are the only two ways that price delivery happens in the market, in balance, and in trend. Okay, so great example of that today. And also another perfect example of a trade setup that was definitely presented for everybody in the last video, and you can even see back last week we had a very similar scenario again, where, and you're going to see this time and time again, where we come back and retest the liquidity of a broken balance zone. You can see here it happened on Thursday, and it happened again today. And I made a post on my Twitter, pretty much joking about making, well, I mean, I did make about 730% on one of my SPY calls today, and I will tell you how I did it today. But really, it was all laid out for anybody watching the videos. Okay, so today let me go into the 30-minute for you guys. Now, the first thing that we had to note, now go back in the other videos, you can all see the levels that I had been talking about as far as these pivots are concerned. You can see here that we opened pretty much right above, just a little peak below that 450-40 area, but we've been talking about that level. Why that level, right? That was I think it was from Thursday. Yep. From Thursday's highs right here. Okay. Came back, simply retested that level. Now, I don't really trade options. I could have done this on futures, but I did not. I could have taken it at the open, to be honest. Even in pre-market, really would have been nice for an optimal entry. But either way, we were over our 450-40 area, and that was one of our pivots that we were talking about. Needed to hold or be recaptured from the bulls. It's fake break, recapture. Okay, and then we did get over Friday's swing high. Once we were over Friday's swing high, the game was on, in my opinion, and it all is just, there's nothing that magical about it. We were over this area. This is where you would get in, retesting the break of the range, the balance zone, came up, retested, boom, hit the calls, and that's how you get 700%. Now, granted, I played 2 contracts. I played some next day expiration And those went 100%. I did get a little bit later on those. This one, you know, my 0 days that I played for the 700 was a bit more of a lotto type of trade, that I didn't, that I wasn't, I don't want to say didn't care about, but you know, it was a lotto. So, but you're gonna see this again and again, the retests of the zone, right? Same thing right here last week. Broke up, came back, retested, long, boom. All right. So no moving averages, just price action, just understanding where liquidity is and where our balance is, and then where we could potentially start the trend. And if we even go back further, the same thing happened here. We just had a 50% retracement here. Same thing. We broke out of the range, came back, retested. Okay. So pretty straightforward. I wish I could be more mystical about it, like some futures traders that are out there. But honestly, for me, simple is sexy. So, boom, we retested. OTE right here, boom, and then you just wrote it up. Okay. Where I got in the, I was a little bit late on the on my tomorrow expiration calls. I mean, they still went 100%. I got in right here as we dipped down during lunch, and I was just risking the highs here at basically 452.25 or this thereabouts. So, but I knew that once we broke out of this range, that it was game on. And you can really see how nice of a setup. I was on the 30-minute before, but what is this right here? Just a perfect bear flag, or bull flag, excuse me. Came in, retest, boom, boom, just another higher low, and then we were off to the races. So, so the plan for tomorrow is pretty simple. Now we gotta still get over this swing high. I'm not gonna count the swing high here. I'm really gonna count the psychological 455. Gotta get over that for chances for the moves up into 456 and 456.55. Over that, I'm gonna be looking for in as close as we can get here to the high 457.80, 457.50, back up into this area. Do I think we'll get it? I'm wondering about some hesitation in the markets tomorrow. We've had 2 trend days basically, right? Boom, straight up, consolidate, boom, straight up, consolidate. Just more of a smaller scale of the trend range balance trend. Okay, everything's a fractal. You see it again here, just on a mini scale of what we were talking about earlier. And now we've had 2 trend days, so there is a high potential, in my opinion, of having a bit more of potential choppy price action. So be on alert for that tomorrow, in addition to the fact that we have these major earnings kicking off with Netflix and Tesla, right? But for me, you know, if we start to break below the what time is this? 11:30 swing high. I think that's a warning sign. So under 453.40, I think that's a warning sign that we could see a little bit of a retracement. Doesn't mean I'm going to be shorting that intraday, but I would be more interested in the potential short intraday if we do break back below this previous range and come back into the balance zone, right? So if that's the case, I'll be watching for potential lower prices, maybe come back and retest back into this 450 area, but that's a big if. Really, you know, I'll be watching, you know, these highs as well. in the 453.40, but 452.70, that's the 11 o'clock swing high. So I'll be watching those two areas. I don't have this marked off yet. Oops. There we go. So I'll be watching to see how price reacts. I'm not too hot to trot to get in short as far as the day trades, even if I do get in that swing trade tomorrow on the August puts. I will still be totally willing and able to day trade to the upside if those opportunities present itself. And so I also would potentially consider taking a long again here on that double bottom if we do come down into the 451. But below that 451, 30, 35, this whole zone, then we could potentially see that selling. And maybe back, maybe we only come down to 450, 50, 75 area, right? The top of this zone. Maybe we just only come down into the 451. That's also another possibility. But we'll have to see how that plays out. If you really, really wanted a little bit more confirmation for that short trade, wait till we break this balance and we really get under 448. 50, 45, whoops. And that might offer some more opportunities. Why is this only 2 days here? There we go. I have to break back below here. And that's very far. But there is the chance that we still could see a nice short trade develop. Maybe even if we break over 455 and we come back down, then retest, come back, fake breakout, that's a potentiality. And still, from say 455 down here, that's $3, $4, down. So there's still opportunities potentially within this area for a short trade, but still probably be looking for more longs really under the 51. You can start to, in my opinion, start to even consider going short for a day trade. And yeah, so I think that's pretty much everything I want to go over. It's been 20 minutes. Big thank you to all my followers. I finally hit over 500 subscribers, so from the bottom of my heart, it really means a lot to me for the support. And I hope you guys are learning stuff and finding value in the content every day that I try to put out for you guys. Like I said, yeah, it means a ton to me. The other thing I have to mention is it is Shark Week coming up next week. So for my subscribers, going to be doing some fun giveaways and stuff like that for next week in every video. So stay tuned. And yeah, hope everybody has a great trading day tomorrow, follows their plan. Let's see what we get. Do we get a chop day? I think it's possible. So let's stay on our toes. All right, take care.